hello, everybody. This is the Moments with Michaela podcast. I am glad to be with you guys on today. I am excited, excited, excited. Um, Please share this video. Share this video with everybody you know. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Our social media pages are in the banner below. We are on Instagram and Facebook at the Moments with Michaela podcast. We are live streaming on Periscope at Michaela Elise. That is Michaelia. Aleece. Also, we are on YouTube at Moments with Michaela / Michaela Dudley. All right, come on in, come on in. I'm excited to be with you all today. This is the second installment of our Mental Health Awareness Month. And today we are talking about military madness. Military madness is a term that I coined that is discussing our mental health issues with our military servicemen. So today I have Mr. Otis Toussaint. Did I say your name right, Otis? I said it right? Okay. So Otis is a public affairs and social media specialist currently working for the 5th Medical Recruiting Battalion. As a veteran of 14 years in the United States Army, he has held many jobs ranging from an Army medic to a medical platoon leader. He is currently running a daily vlog on his marketing channel called Wide Aperture Media. By the way, you guys should subscribe to it, where he interviews leaders in the professional and business fields. He is currently married for 10 years to his wife, Xavier, and has 2 sons, Omari and Chandler. So without further ado, clap it up for Mr. Otis. Hey, Otis,
Hey,
hey, what's
what's
going
going on?
on?
Hey, how you doing? How you doing?
What's going on? How are
It's
you?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good. Just blessed and thankful that I got invited to join your podcast. So I appreciate it.
Thank you. So, get just a little, I guess, to break the ice because we are gonna talk about some serious things, and this is my disclaimer: if you get in your feelings, or you are having feelings, or anything that we are discussing is bringing up any traumatic experiences, go to a therapist. Go get some help. Go talk to somebody, and do all those things that you need to do to
Hmm.
ensure that your mental health is at a good capacity. So Otis, I literally was thinking and writing the show notes, and I was really wondering, like, how did we end up meeting? Like, I think either you just popped up and you were taking pictures,
Yeah.
or something. Like, I don't remember how we met.
So I was doing. I was living in Clarksville, Tennessee at that time, and of course, you went
Mm-hmm.
to Austin P University,
Yes.
and I recently had gotten out the military. So this is 2014. I had gotten out,
Mm-hmm.
and I was doing photography all around town. I was doing photography for a lot of events. It was my new career. I officially got out of the military, and I was trying to look for something to do that will burn my time. And I think I just
Right.
met you at a step show or something like that at Austin P.
I think you know what I remember. I remember the picture because I think I was sitting at the bottom of the stage,
Yes.
and I had my hand. I was sitting like this. I was just like, I'm ready to go. I'm ready to go home. I'm
Yeah.
tired. We've been
Mhm.
here all day.
Yep.
So yeah, like I said, it's crazy to just think that it's been 4, 5, and 6 years
Hmm.
that I've been developing healthy friendships with people. So
Hmm.
I'm very grateful for that. So like I said, this is military madness, mental health awareness month.
Hmm.
I share my story about how I was diagnosed with adjustment disorder back in February. I manage it very well, so I'm not on any medication. I don't feel the need to use all that, but I do actively use therapy. So today, what we're going to talk about is pretty much your career in the military. I have some
Hmm.
questions that we're going to segue into, and I'm sure we'll probably get off topic, but that's okay. And we're going to, talk about how it affected your mental health and how it
Hmm.
affected your family and just some different things like that, because I really feel like we overlook a lot of issues concerning the military because we're just like, okay, they turn 18 or whatever age and they're supposed to go in, and we don't really give them a outlet as far as transitioning back into civilian life. So, how did you get into the military? What made you decide that, hey, I want to go into the United States Army?
Wow. So this is, let's see, 9/11 happened in New York City.
Mm-hmm.
I'm from New York. I grew up in Brooklyn, New York. And I was going to school at the College of Staten Island. If you know Staten Island, in order to get there, you got to catch a ferry to go to
Yes.
Staten Island. And so the ferry that morning, I woke up late to go to school. And so I said, okay, I'll just skip classes this day. And everything happened that day. And I gained motivation. I gained a bit a little bit of anger because I was like, how dare these people come to the country that I appreciate and do such a thing?
Right.
And so I said, okay, I'll go ahead and join this military thing. And June 10th of '02 is when I came on active duty as a combat medic out of Brooklyn. Did my training. Then I went off to my first duty station, which was at Fort Leonard Wood, Missouri. And this is
Mm-hmm.
in the Midwest, Missouri. This is coming from New York City to the Midwest in Missouri. And, I joined, I did my thing. I went to Iraq in April '03 to April '04. Experienced what I experienced there. Came back and then decide, hey, I want to do more. So I applied to college. My leadership said, hey, we want to make you be an officer. So I went to school for 4 years, got a degree in psychology,
Mm-hmm.
history, and came back on active duty again in 2009. Um, and then I had to, unfortunately, medically retire out the military in
Mm-hmm.
2014. So that's my little brief military history.
Okay. So let me ask you this. So I know that they kind of trained you per se, and I've heard a lot of people in the military, and they're like, they break you down mentally to build you back up.
Yeah.
And what was your basic training experience like? What was it like to literally be broken down from everything you were raised to be and
Yeah.
raised to do and everything you knew, and then literally being built up to a literally a whole new way of life?
So the ironic thing is, growing up in a very Caribbean, tough
Hmm.
household, basic training really wasn't that tough to me.
Really?
And so, yeah, it wasn't. So I have a very strong mother and siblings, and they raised me tough. And so, doing 9 weeks of training, it was fun actually. Though the toughest part may have been the time that I had to run and work out and stuff, but everything else it was easy. So
Okay.
yeah, but I did see where and I was older. Keep in mind, I joined in '02, so I was 21 years old when I joined. Um, I just turned in 22 at the end of the month. And so, I was a little bit older. I had a little bit more life experience. I saw where younger soldiers, younger folks who are 18, freshly 18, 17, joining and didn't really know left from right. They didn't have much life experience. So, in turn, training was way, way tougher for them.
Right.
Hmm.
Right. So, was mental health a hot topic discussed while you were serving? I know now that, we went through, well, the United States, they went through the whole, mental health
Hmm.
type deal. I want to say back in the early 2000s. So, was that something that was heavily discussed while you were in the military, or was it just like, just join?
I got you. And, I probably should have said this prior to even beginning my discussion, but I am speaking on behalf of me, Otis Toussaint, as in
Yes. Give
my
your
my
disclaimer.
my own personal opinions. I'm not speaking on behalf of the military or the army or the federal government or whatever. This is my personal opinion. So you ask, was mental health a big thing back then? I I don't know. I don't remember really a lot of discussion regarding mental health. I do remember, as a 21, 22-year old going through training, I do remember, you hear the stories of people who went to Vietnam and other military conflicts of the past, and they may have had you know certain things that they may have gone through. But as far as mental health and focusing on mental health, that really was not a big thing that occurred when I went to training, when I attended it.
Why do you think that's so? Why do you think that it wasn't a? I
Well,
guess for me, why do you think that it wasn't a huge topic, so to say?
I got you. And, I'm speaking anecdotally, of course. So, in my opinion, maybe I was just aloof to
Mm-hmm.
the totality of talking about mental health in the military. But, it wasn't around me a whole lot. It wasn't
Mm-hmm.
around me a whole lot. Why do I think it wasn't really spoken on a lot or whatever? I think because I don't know, maybe soldiers were just really well adjusted when it comes to,
Mm-hmm.
moving from a civilian world where it may have been tough to a military world where it's tough also. And
Right.
so, people adjust accordingly, It just depends if they have underlying preconditions that may
Mm-hmm.
make them susceptible to mental health issues,
Right.
then, that's the case. But
Right. And I
yeah.
think a lot of times, like I said, I'm speaking from the outside and never been in the military, not
Hmm.
really my thing. But I do know that as even just as being in working in public service, I really think that we can do a better job at screening.
Yeah.
I know a lot of times, we focus so much in public administration on numbers and getting people to do this and getting people to do that. And a lot of times, I don't think, not saying that people can't, grow and all those other things, but I don't think we really take the time to understand people's backstories as to
Yeah.
why they are the way they are. And then, like you said, you go into basic training and then they completely lose their mind.
Well,
So,
I wouldn't say completely lose their mind. Here's the thing: everyone has an underlying
hmm,
precursor or indication of whatever it is that they're going through
right,
mentally.
right,
More than anything, I think the military may strengthen a lot of folks who
hmm,
may be going through a mental health issue.
that's a
There
different
are
view.
there are avenues out there for if you do need the mental health care. There's tons of avenues out there in the military. Heck, me personally, I've used a lot of them, and it's encouraged, I would say, to speak out and say something if something's going on. Of course, when say, for instance, when you're joining the military or whatever, or you're trying to, there's going to be medical screenings for everything. So
Right,
if physically you can't cut it, you're not going to be able to join the military. If mentally you can't cut it, you're not going to be able to join the military. So, I mean, we've got the strongest military in the world, and this is an ongoing history of strong army military, strong soldiers that are developed in there who
right,
get a chance to then go into tons of leadership positions. And also, a lot of them do get a chance to persevere through their trials and tribulations and get the help that they need. So, I am, I understand that there may be a dialogue or a thought process out there where some may think, oh, you were normal when you were a civilian, then you join the military, then you lose your mind. I wouldn't necessarily say that. I would say more than anything, military may strengthen a lot of our personality traits,
mm-hmm,
and any stressors actually brings out how you deal with that problem.
right,
And stressors, in turn, also is something that may be underlying within you. It also
right,
depends on how you're taught to deal with your stressors. So, I
right,
mean, think about it. Me, when I was in the military, there's stressors. Say, for instance, you're being woken up at 4 in the morning uh, and told to be ready to be downstairs in formation at 15 minutes, making sure that your uniform is good, your bed is good, and your mentality and everything like that is good. That's a stressor that some people may not be able to handle, and some people may be able to handle. So, you know, military strengthens the hell out of you.
yeah,
A lot of us persevere through a lot of the hard times as well.
right. Okay. So, I did want to ask, were there any mental health issues that you occurred while you were serving? if you don't mind sharing what
Okay.
those diagnoses were. And then from there, we're going to just kind of look up some different statistics concerning those different
I
diagnoses.
got you. So during my time in the military, I unfortunately had to go and get mental health care. I'm not going to go digging and diving
Oh,
as
absolutely.
far as
Hmm.
the specific diagnoses, but I received mental health care when I was a junior enlisted guy. So,
Really?
yeah, I was a private all the way up to specialist.
Hmm.
And I received military health, mental health care when I was a
Hmm.
junior officer. There were significant stressors,
Hmm.
not necessarily just in the military, that was causing a lot of the issues that I was going through.
Hmm.
And I didn't know how to deal with it. And,
Right.
you know, I ended up going and getting the care that I need, and getting the help care that I need has helped me be who I am today. I would think for the better.
Right. And I know, specifically for me, I did the same. I I guess for me, with the mental health issue that I was going through, that I had kind of got used to functioning in dysfunction. And
You're
so,
high functioning. Yeah, I got you.
yeah, high function and dysfunction. And so I had got so used to the way that things were,
Hmm.
and the things that were going on, that I literally was desensitized to the fact. I'm like, this ain't okay.
Yeah.
This ain't okay. And it wasn't until August of 2019 I noticed. I told one of my closest friends, I was like, something's not right with me. I
Hmm.
don't know what it is. My body feels fine. I'm like, but something isn't right. And
Hmm.
it wasn't until I went to therapy, started going to therapy in February, and my therapist literally was like, "So what brings you to therapy?" And after crying on her couch for 20 minutes, I, gave her some insight to what was going on. So I really think that was just, like you said, important for me, getting the help that you need, because a lot of times, whether you're in the military, whether you are a government worker,
Hmm.
social worker, any type of public administrative worker,
Hmm.
you know, there's a lot of stressors dealing with that. Prime example. So my master's degree is in public safety administration.
Hmm.
So I could either do, law enforcement, emergency planning, city planning, anything like that. And even now I think about, okay, literally the safety of an entire city is in my hand. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like whether that's 100,000 people or 100 people, the entire safety of a city is in my hand. And it's
Hmm.
like, how do like how do you deal with that type of stress? And that stress hasn't even came to me yet,
Yeah.
because I don't like I'm currently a substitute, and I'm just like I don't want to, get too ahead of myself and stress myself out before I even get into the field. But I guess for me, that's something I take, like the safety of people is what I take seriously.
And that's something that's absolutely admired. Many people who may see that responsibility coming to them may cower in fear, but it takes a certain personality trait, maybe though a personality trait that has been developed through practice, has been developed through child birth to adulthood, or maybe one that has actually received the mental health counseling to help them become a better and stronger personality. So I get what you're saying, and your line of work is something that's definitely going to be needed, especially with COVID-19 going on, and
Yes.
a lot of folks who are frontline workers, healthcare workers who will need that counseling. You've got folks who are not dealing with this very well. You've got,
Right.
and it's unfortunate, but this is where, those who are in mental health care, those who are privileged enough to have the degrees, have the knowledge, have the skill set, and have the passion to actually work in helping others, that's when you're going to be
Right.
appreciated and looked for.
Right. So I'm actually looking up some statistics concerning um our veterans and just mental health in the military.
Mm-hmm.
And this is coming from Yes. So this is coming from military.com if you guys want to go and search. The article is called Mental Health Disorders in Troops Far Below National Average,
Mm-hmm.
which is good. I think that
Mm-hmm.
is good. It says diagnosis for mental health conditions among active duty U.S. military personnel have remained steady over the last 4 years. This article was from 2019.
Mm-hmm.
So um, over the last 4 years, a total of 8.3% of the total force diagnosed in 2018, compared with the 8% in 2014.
Mm-hmm.
And then they also said from the 2018 Health of Force study that was released that mental health appointments among active duty troops accounted for roughly 16% of all military medical appointments, or 1.8 million, I'm sorry, outpatient visitors.
Yeah.
So here, and then it also says female service members were diagnosed with mental health conditions at rates higher than men, 12.8% compared with 7.5, and they outpaced their male counterparts in five of the eight conditions reviewed.
Mm-hmm.
Some of those conditions were adjustment disorder, anxiety, depression, bipolar disorder, and post traumatic stress syndrome.
Mm-hmm.
So, looking at that, why do you, I guess, as a maybe a rough estimate or an educated guess, why do you think that female service members were diagnosed at a higher rate than men?
Well, I don't want to speculate as far as
Right.
why exactly that is occurring.
Mm-hmm.
But I would say, with any gender, and I'm trying not to minimize the actual statistics that you presented, but
Right. 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 Right.
I would say every case has an underlying situation,
Right.
and also just think of it. It depends on who's actually going and reporting the actual mental health condition that's going on.
Mm-hmm.
And anecdotally, I'm speaking.
Right.
As a guy, I may be less willing to go and report a mental health condition versus, say, a woman going and reporting a mental
Right.
health condition. So every statistic, every underlying reason
Mm-hmm.
is, I would say, take it as a case by case situation.
Right, right. And do you think that some, hmm, I want to make sure I'm saying it, politically correct. Do you think that some mental health issues, like you said, I know that not all mental health issues originated from the military, but there
Mm-hmm.
were, some underlying family issues. So do you think that some of the issues weren't addressed was because that people were kind of used to dealing with that person? Prime example, we all got that. Well, I don't want to say everybody, but we all have that one family member that kind of got some issues going on, and people are used to dealing with them, or they put them away, and they don't really talk about them and different things like that.
I got you. So the question that you're asking is, maybe people were not addressing their mental health issues before actually joining the
Yeah.
military.
Yes.
Um, of course, I mean, it's possible. Anything is possible as far as people may be dealing with underlying issues beforehand. I
Right.
would say, stress creates, you've heard the saying, pressure bust pipes,
Oh
right?
yes. Oh yes.
And it just really depends. Not everyone is living or growing up in a stressful environment where, say for instance, they're deployed in an austere overseas location that they may experience stressful things. Not everyone is waking up at 4 or 5 in the morning with a loud voice during basic training for 9 weeks on end. Not everyone is experiencing a daily stressful thing.
Right.
So it just really depends on the condition, the situation, and the individual to really
Right.
give a really solid answer. And I know it sounds super political what I'm saying.
No, it actually makes sense because
Mm-hmm.
you can't assume. So like my situation that that caused my mental health issue, it may be the same situation but different
Yeah.
stressors for different people. So I don't think you can assume. Yeah, I'm sure we've all been through some type of
Yes.
traumatic incident in our
Mm-hmm.
lives, but we also have to realize that our minds work a different way. So
Yes.
what happened in my situation that stressed me out, somebody else can be in the same situation and they can be stressed out because of money or because of family, or just anything else concerning that.
And some
So
people grow up not learning how to health healthily. Is that a word? I don't
health,
know.
we can make it up on my podcast.
Health.
We make up we make up
So
words.
you know what I mean.
Hmm.
Not everyone grew up in a healthy environment to learn how to properly deal with the
Right.
stressors that come into their lives. Some people may grow up where actual talking and counseling and receiving the mental health care and also access to mental health
Yes.
care.
Yes.
Um,
That is a whole different
yeah,
podcast for another day.
access to healthcare is an issue. I mean, let's look at the
Absolutely.
stats. People of color, poorer people, we may not
Yep.
necessarily have say for instance, a pediatrician to take a child to go and deal with mental health care. Many of us may not have access,
Right.
and it's quite unfortunate. That's why I'm really, I know I'm giving the military a lot of props, but let me give it a little bit extra props. The
Yeah.
military has helped these teeth to become straight, for my for
Man,
my
listen.
physical care to be taken care of for the rest of my life,
Right.
a paycheck for the rest of my life,
Right.
education that they've paid for,
Right.
and all of that stuff would not have occurred if I hadn't joined the military. And
Right.
the mental health care is also part of that care that I was given. And
Right.
if it wasn't for the military, I wouldn't have been able to actually come in and address the underlying mental health demons that I may have. You know,
Right.
because
Right.
we all got,
We all got issues. Yeah.
I had a frat brother of mine who is a clinical psychiatrist.
Mhm.
He joined my podcast a couple weeks ago. Dr. Nifley, his name is. He
Mhm.
speaks on racial trauma and how it affects the
Yes.
black mental and physical well-being of today. A
Mhm.
lot of us of color do need that mental health care. A lot of us of color do need to actually directly and head on address those issues. A lot of us of color um, we're still living under the let's not talk about that. Let's not talk about that family member that did
What they
that
say,
to
what
us.
happens in our house stays in our house.
Yeah,
No,
some of us
I don't.
are also told, hey, just pray that mental health disease away.
You
Come
know
on
what?
now,
You
come
know what?
on
I
now.
literally Pastor Hill. I was talking to Pastor Hill last week, and we were talking about Black mental health. And he, in Nashville, they say that 37208 is the worst zip code to live in. And we were talking about that, and it just really
I'm here.
it just struck something with me, concerning the access and concerning the what happens in this house stays in this house. Um, and I think we've been, like I said, we've been taught, not saying that seeking whatever higher power you follow, like I think everybody needs some type of direction and guidance.
Hmm.
But we've been so used to, well, pray this away,
Yeah.
but I also believe that in whatever you meditate and you pray on, that answers come in a natural physical form. So, I'm a Christian. I believe in Jesus. And so I can be like, okay, God, literally, I was like, God, I'm like, I don't want to be like this anymore. I don't want to have this toxic thought process. And you
Hmm.
know what he said? He said, go to therapy. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, go to therapy. I wouldn't have created these people and these different occupations if you didn't need them.
Well, anecdotally, you're saying that inner voice, once you ask for that guidance and that
Hmm.
direction, says something actually positive to you. Unfortunately, also anecdotally, many people may hear, "Go get that bottle." Hey,
Yeah.
go get that. Go do that drug. Hey, go
Hmm.
hang out with that toxic person that brings nothing but negativity to you because you're lonely, or you desire companionship or whatever. Um, you know this. Ooh, that's definitely a topic that we could probably jump
Yeah,
on,
we gonna
like on
what you
another
say, put it in the
podcast.
parking lot. Put it
Ooh,
in the parking lot.
for sure, for sure. But I me personally, I love to talk about things that people don't want to talk about simply because they're afraid of discomfort that will come when talking about that
Mm-hmm.
issue. So, say
Right.
for instance, issues with race, issues with mental health. Let's talk about it. Let's be about it in the open. Because, say
Right.
for instance, you go in the hospital and you break your leg. You would go to a hospital if you broke your leg, right?
Right.
Well, if mentally a chemical is off in your brain, there's no shame in going and getting that counselor in that hospital for that care that you need. There's no shame in that.
Right. Right. So,
No more suffering in silence, I should say.
man, listen, and I'm gonna tell you, I think that's the mantra I've taken on because I literally suffered in silence for about a
Mm-hmm.
year. And I didn't say anything because, again, what happens in this house stays in this house. I didn't want anybody looking at me crazy. People know me as, typically a joyful person.
Mm-hmm.
Contrary to probably, I became an introvert since all this happened. If I'm around a lot of people, I kind of get irritated a little bit. Um, but one of the things I had to realize is that I can't suffer in silence based on the opinions of others. And I think that even as a race, we do tend to, I want to make sure I'm saying it politically correct. We do tend to suffer in silence
Mm-hmm.
concerning some things based on the perceptions and opinions of not only people in other races, but in our own race.
Here's the thing. I I literally have the IDGAF mentality when it
Yeah.
comes to
Mm-hmm.
dealing with my own care and my family care. I mean, if you need to cut off a toxic family member who is bringing you pain and your family member's pain, it don't matter if it's your mother or your father, cut them off.
Yes.
Remove yourself from a situation. You're not going to keep dipping your foot in a fire and keep getting burned, right? No, you
Right.
remove
Right.
yourself from that toxic situation. You surround yourself around with those who are about business, who are about
Right.
taking care of yourself.
Right.
Um, celebrate. You've got folks who out there who want to celebrate you.
Right.
Don't feel ashamed with people
Mm-hmm.
celebrating you. First
Right.
of all, you need to get yourself situated. How do you get yourself situated? Well, with
Mm-hmm.
physical health. There's scientific research that shows being physically healthy helps with your mental health. You know, if you need to
Right.
get the counseling to improve your mental health, go get that as well.
Right.
All that healthcare out there, and you don't want to go take care of yourself. You rather suffer in
Right.
silence. Nah, don't do
Right.
that. Just
Right. And I'm
go
glad.
and square yourself away.
And I'm so glad I did. I'm so glad I did. I
Mm-hmm.
I posted a picture. I want to say a couple of days ago, and it was from August the 3rd. I want to say of 2019,
Mm-hmm.
and it was literally the same pose that I took this past Sunday while I was at church. And it, like, when I say, like, I can literally tell such a difference, not even just in my health, but just like in my attitude. And like, I was really miserable.
Mm-hmm.
And even people see the picture, they were like, we could tell something was wrong because you literally look like you were forced to smile. um but even now, like, I look at that, and just to see how far I've personally came,
Mm-hmm.
um from suffering in silence to being not vocal, but using wisdom and
Mm-hmm.
how I explain what has gone on with me. I think that is a really positive thing because I wouldn't speak to people. Like, I'm talking
Yeah.
just chill. Hey, I'm good. I'm good. I'm all right.
Here's an exercise that I learned about, especially when it comes to self love and loving yourself.
Mm-hmm.
You're not loving yourself to the point where you're conceited and you're annoying. No. Like, take up a mirror
Mm-hmm.
and, you know, put out positive reinforcing messages to yourself.
Right.
Actually, look at yourself and think of, okay, what am I going to do today that's about self love, that's about taking care of myself, that's about presenting the best version of Michaela or Otis that you could possibly do. And then, you know,
Right.
you got to love yourself first before you
You
try to love
have
anyone
to.
else.
That's so true.
I mean, love yourself. I mean, oh my God. Think about, set a goal, set little goals. Like, even if
Right.
it's a fitness goal or a mental health goal or a business goal or I will reach out and connect with four people that I love and admire goal. do those little mini goals and knock off that goal. You know what they say? What's the best way to wait? Hold on. And no slide to the deltas. A shout out to
Don't.
the deltas, right? I know you've heard the saying. How do you eat an elephant?
One bite at a time.
There you go. So you set that big goal, and you knock out those little mini goals for self love,
Right.
and then it's incredible how when you start accomplishing goals in one aspect in your life, how that determination, that feeling of accomplishment is transferable into other
Mm-hmm.
aspects in your life. So
Right.
I'm about that, man. Just handle
Right.
your business.
Right. You got to, I told somebody, you can't pour into others what you don't have. And
There you go.
so, and I can honestly say, I am in the process where I am learning to love myself again. And it, I guess for me, it looked kind of different because I didn't know what it was like. And
Yeah.
I thought that I would, what I thought was self love, it wasn't. And it resulted in me, I guess, coping in some unhealthy mechanisms, whatever, which I have addressed, which I'm grateful for.
Mm-hmm.
But just like I said, like knowing, hey, like you are worthy of
Mm-hmm.
whatever you want in the world and have to offer with no exceptions and deletions.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, so my last question, we're gonna get into our last question, and then we're gonna talk about how we can find you on social media,
Mm-hmm.
and then that'll be it. So, how was your transition from the military back into civilian world? So,
Ooh, buddy.
you go to, you're raised a certain way, then it's like, okay, I'm broken down, as they say, to relearn a whole different way of living.
Mm-hmm.
And then the military living that you're used to, that breaks down, and you have to transition back into where you originally started. So, what was that journey like?
What was that journey like? Well, initially, I still had to be able to take care of a family,
Mm-hmm.
myself, my wife, and kid. Well, kid at that time, because Chandler born? Chandler was born, yeah, and kids, because I had a newborn at that time, right before I got out.
Mm-hmm.
I still had responsibilities, so I didn't have time to say, woe is me, what am I going to do? I had to
Right.
figure out a way of taking care of my family. And
Right.
so I did that. And so that's when I started the photography, videography business.
Mm-hmm.
I was already skilled in whatever it is that I was skilled in, but I had to start a business. I still had a means of income, so I was thankful for that. And I know that's a big stressor for a lot of folks, but uh,
Right.
I started looking for jobs. I started connecting. I started networking. My fraternity brothers helped me with that. Greek life, Greek.
Yeah.
Hey, hold on.
Let's go.
Let me give a shout out. Let me give a shout out real
Come on,
fast.
let's do it,
Let
Otis.
me give
Let's
a quick
do
shout
it.
out. Greek life in Clarksville, Tennessee.
Is the truth.
Yeah, it is
I love
great.
it.
It
I
is
love it.
great. And I'll tell you what, Greek life in Nashville, Tennessee. Shout out to the SG Rose in Nashville, Tennessee. They were my first paying customers in my
Wow, that's
photography
amazing.
business.
That is
They were
amazing.
the ones who saw and
Mm-hmm.
believed in my vision, and they endorsed that.
Right.
Shout out to the churches that allowed me to come and do photography and hone my craft. Shout out to St. John's Church right there on Tiny Town Road, right?
Yep.
1833 Tiny Town Road, I think
Yep.
they're located.
Yep.
Shout out
Yep.
to all of the different people that saw me and believed in me and allowed me to get where I'm at today.
Right.
Um, they're the ones who saw that they're the ones who saw that, hey, we believe in you and we're going to stay with you. Shout out to my
Right.
wife. Last person, shout out to my wife who has
Yes,
been
I love
there
her. I
for
try to keep
me.
up with her on social media like you. So I love her so much.
Shout out to my wife, Xavier Toussaint. She was there and she's been there and she's still there with me. She's the
Mm-hmm.
one that bought my first little green screen that helped me start off the
Wow.
photography business,
That,
right?
that's what I'm talking about.
And so when you have people that are invested in your success,
Mm-hmm.
that believe in you, and they give you that push, you better not fail. You
Right.
you better go and you utilize whatever you need to utilize and you do it.
Right.
I of course had the want to go and actually learn new skill sets to make myself employable. Why?
Mm-hmm.
Because I am still West Indian and we West Indians we just work harder, Let me tell you now. So, as a West Indian, as a man who loves to work, I'm going to find a means to still take care of my family. I'm going
Right,
to find different jobs. I'm going to work. And
right.
so the right choices, the right places, getting the
Mm-hmm.
right jobs got me in the position where I'm at today. And I'm eternally thankful for those who planted seeds of belief into me. And
Right.
I am now cultivating those seeds.
Right, right. So, jobs, businesses. You are the owner of Wide Aperture Media.
Mm-hmm.
So can you tell us a little about that and what you do? If you're currently working on anything and where we can find you.
Okay, so I am the owner of Wide Aperture Media. It's a photography, videography, graphic design business. And so I am lucky enough that for the past 6 years that the business has been official, I have honed my craft. So I've done tons of events from media work for the military, for Greek media,
Mm-hmm.
for social media. That's what I do. That's my side hustle, you should say. What my 8 to 4 or my 9 to 5 job is. I'm a social media manager for an Army Medical Recruiting Battalion, the 5th Medical Recruiting Battalion here
Mm-hmm.
in San Antonio, Texas, where I'm at.
Okay.
Uh, Hard work has pushed me to the point where I was just recently recognized by my leadership and my military leadership. I've been recognized as the top social media manager
Wow,
for
that's really
all
good.
of USAREC. So shout out to USAREC, shout out to the Army, shout out to hard work, shout out to my coworkers who, allow me to imagine, and being able to imagine and then putting it to fruition
Mm-hmm.
is a hell of a thing. So
Right.
I think I'm in the best job in the world, honestly. I get to
Right.
recruit Army medical doctors, dentists, nurses, if anesthetists. If you want to have a medical career and you want to have it paid for and you want a stipend and you want to have a little bit of a commitment for the military and you want to be able to stay home working as a reserve, or if you want to come on active duty, talk to me and I could connect you with the person that you need to talk to. So
Right.
that's what I do.
That is amazing. Like I said, I appreciate you for, taking the time to come on today.
Mm-hmm.
So, like I said, you guys, here's my social media again. Follow us on all of our platforms, Instagram and Facebook
Mm-hmm.
at Moments with Michaela Podcast, Periscope at Michaela Elise, and my YouTube, Michaela Elise, Michaela A. Dudley /Moments with Michaela. Also, if you are a business and you are looking for advertisement, I am accepting sponsorships for episodes. You can email me at Moments with Michaela. That is MOMENTS
Mm-hmm.
with MIKAYLIA at gmail.com, and we can get into some different things of that nature. But I'm really, really big about not only supporting Black businesses, but just supporting businesses in general, because I think we're in a time where business support, those who are owners of small businesses, I mean, they got bills to pay just like everybody else.
Mm-hmm.
So I
Mm-hmm.
definitely want to support them. Last but not least, like I said, I am graduating with my master's. I will be conferred on June
Hey,
14th, and I am so excited. I'm so excited.
congrats, congrats.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. And I'm having a drive-by graduation party. I'm sure you
Mm-hmm.
guys have seen all of my 40 million posts, but I don't care because I'm graduating. I'm done with school
Mm-hmm.
for a while. But if you guys would like to sew into the podcast or me through that, you can follow the prompts and directions the on my social media. So
Yeah.
Otis, do you have any last words or closing thoughts before we
Yeah.
go on and get out of here?
So I've got, I do my daily podcast. This afternoon, I've got a discussion with the gentleman who actually, in the military, he's a retiree himself. He was actually the person that gave me my first public affairs job in the military that has now catapulted me in the position where I'm at today. So we're going to talk about transitioning from military to the civilian world. And so he's going to just, we're just going to have that discussion. It's going to be awesome. I'm looking forward to it. And of course, follow me on social media under Wide Aperture. It's spelled WIDEAPERTURE Media.
You said APERTURE.
Media.
Wide Aperture Media. All right, you guys, it is in the comment box, so please make sure you go and support him. And like I said, I thank you so much for joining. And like I said, we're definitely gonna have to park and lot that conversation. And I definitely look forward to having you back on my
Yeah,
podcast. Thank
yeah,
you so much.
yeah. I want to do this again. I'm looking
We
forward to it.
should. We definitely should. All
It-
right. This amazing. This is cool. I'm feeling it. I'm feeling it. I love it.
All
All
right,
right.
sis. Good luck.
All
Talk to
right.
you. Bye bye.
Thank you. All right, you guys. That was Otis Toussaint. Toussaint. I apologize. And like I said, just follow us on social media and ensure that you, if you are a business, that you advertise and you look into our sponsorship information. And I am also accepting bookings for digital media concerning being co-host on broadcast. So if you guys would so graciously feel free to patronize me, so into what we're doing. I'm really excited about what we're going to be doing this year. And if that is nothing else, then I will see you guys.